What's up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. It was an amazing week last week, loaded with winners across multiple sports. Here are some of the highlights. We kick off things in the college football streets where our members have been crushing. Phil Mix Bra hit for $1,500, while Freddie 11 won $3,400. In MMA, 57 Lions had a nice ROI, turning $100 into over $1,000. And Agency Arms LLC hit for $2.9K in NHL. Just a reminder, our memberships include all sports for one price. World Cup kicks off next week too, and we will have a ton of content to help you shift. So sign up today and let's start running pure. In the NFL, RPS ran the leaderboards once again. I landed my 5th King of the Beach ticket. D. Bailey 2106 hit for $5K. J. Rex 777 won $38K. And D. Kafer shipped a 3rd live final seat. Our biggest sport last week was the NBA, where our members shipped left and right. Our NBA content has been on fire, and you can catch our daily shows for free by subscribing to our YouTube channel right now. ROI was strong in NBA last week too. Connor turned $28 into $1,700 using K-Falix Core. Chunky Blue turned $14 into $1,700. Junior turned $64 into $1,800. Chargers 0616 hit for $2K, while Brandon 2323 won over $10K. Our coordinators joined in as well, with Bobby Hare winning $14K. Mangone hit for $16K, while K-Falix shipped for $44,000. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in our weekly core report, drop your winning lineup in our Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. While you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
All right. It's beautiful. We got Tambo. We got Corraine. It's me, Holden. It's the Friday news dump. I say this all the time about every single show. It's my favorite show, but I really do love doing this show because we get to break down the injury reports and speculate. Just like last week when I said Josh Allen was out, maybe I can get that wrong. He can go play again. That'll be wonderful. We actually need to discuss Josh Allen too this week, given that, there's a few things going on with him. But before we do that, let's say hello to our esteemed panel. Tambo, wonderful to see you. Talk to me, man. This slate here, we always say it's interesting. This is gonna be a different build this week. But you got Saquon up here, you got Jefferson up there. We're building around. This is gonna be a little different, no?
Yeah, interesting is always the key word, but this one is a little tough. I would say you've got all these quarterbacks, pay up spots that are out there. We haven't had all these expensive quarterbacks in a while. You got a lot of guys in a dome. We got another guy who you just mentioned, the aforementioned Josh Allen, shifted to a dome. So we got even more additions when it comes to that stuff. You go to running back, you've got Montgomery, guys like that people want to play, but then you also have the Barkleys of the world that are in great spots as well. And then you go to wide receiver and there's some good value plays. So I guess the way I would say it is it's complete opposite of last week. Last week, we were starving for who can we play just to make this build work. Like, let's just finalize this thing, get what we can. We like Fields. You like this, you like that. You put it together. This week feels like you have too many options. You got 6 or 7 running backs, 5 or 6 good wide receivers, even value ones, lots of value tight ends. The 2 tight end build is in effect again. I don't know, Crane, you can talk on it too, but it seems like there's a lot of options this week versus last week. We were looking all over the place.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options, a lot of different ways to go. I mean, at quarterback, like if you fade Fields, you're going to be different automatically. Like he's going to get so much ownership. And, you talk about Allen now moving from the snow in Buffalo to Detroit. Obviously, he's going to get some ownership. I still like Lamar, even though it's awfully tough to play Lamar over either Allen or Fields. And, you look at the running back position, obviously a lot of guys we can like, Saquon Barkley is a guy that I'm going to go back to. Treated me okay last week. I wanted a 30 piece, didn't quite get there, but I'm going to be back on Barkley. There's a lot of different ways to go this week. And these are the fun weeks.
I think it's fun too. Let's start with Josh Allen because he's really not on the injury report. He's going to play this week, but now he's got the week under him. I personally thought he just didn't look like the same guy in the first half. He was trying to loosen up. Second half, he started forcing throws like he was doing in the old days. But this is fantasy. That I don't know how much that has to do with anything. So Tambo, we moved the venue to indoors now with Josh Allen against Cleveland, right? What are we doing with the Bills offense?
No, I'm in. I love it. Yeah, that was the big factor. Obviously, when they're outdoors in 3 to 4 feet of snow, or maybe the game's going to be postponed, all those thoughts, no interest whatsoever. But when you move it inside into the dome, man, the guy looked great last week. He still has all his weapons. Davis is still pretty cheap. If people are forgetting about him, I think him on the inside on the fast track, nice little tournament play there. And Gabe Davis, Knox, spot you can go up here and get against them. And then on the other side, it's not like we have a bunch of options. It's just the good guys. If you want to play Chubb, you can play him. You want to say that they're going to be down and it's Kareem Hunt week, he's 5,100. It would be a good spot. And then very obvious at wide receiver, you've got Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. The interesting note on that is Donovan Peoples-Jones 4 weeks in a row. Now, I think it's like 15 points or 14 points or something like that. But anyway, the numbers basically mirror Amari Cooper's. One is 6,400. For Donovan Peoples-Jones, you flip those numbers, 4,600. So very little price increase. Looks good. I think you could run him back. And that's a pretty good stack. Just Allen, Diggs, run it back with Donovan Peoples-Jones, or put in Knox if you want to add another guy. But there's a lot of cheap tight ends. So maybe you don't have to double stack it in the spot. That's up to you.
You want any Bills this week with Josh Allen off the injury report?
Of course I do. I love Gabe Davis. Diggs is obviously a phenomenal play every single week. I mean, you can flip a coin with those two guys. Like, I really think because of the price difference, you really can flip a coin. And, sometimes you're going to be right. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. But this week, I'm definitely playing Gabe Davis. He's going to be an integral parts in my lineup. And, it's tough not to like it. This totals up to 49.5. I got a little bit of value. I got it at 48.5. I don't know. Is that good enough value for you, Tambo?
No, it's pretty bad, but it would have been nice if you got like the 41.5 or the 42 and then got the 49.5 for the middle. That's what you really wanted to execute on if you could get there quick enough. We got it live on the show yesterday.
I know. I was watching on a little bit of delay because I started late, and then they're like, "Oh, you got to get it." I'm like, "Oh, I got to go get it right now." And it was 48.5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. I'm still betting it at 48.5. Whatever.
Yeah. Wait till it goes to 50.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel fine. Like, it ain't going down.
Yeah. Still good. It's just not as good.
Yep.
So let's move on here. We were talking about Lamar. Nobody shits more than Lamar. He missed practice again because his belly hurts him. I mean, this is an epidemic at this point. Last week, Derrick Henry had to go in the blue tent to poop. Lamar had to miss practice. DK Metcalf's been carted
on the
off
cart that week. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if this has been going on for a long time, but it seems like every week we've got another pooper out there. But Mark Andrews is a big story here because there's a direct correlation in Lamar Jackson's success in passing yards when he's in. He was a full participant today in practice. Mark Andrews was. Questionable tag, though. The other guy from the Ravens is Gus Edwards. Limited, but he's questionable for this game. So if he's out, Kenyon Drake's going to get the start. Talk to me, Crane, about this Baltimore offense, and with or without Mark Andrews, how do you handle it?
I mean, if Mark Andrews is out, like, it's tougher for me to play Lamar, obviously. But if he's in, like, he's a great tournament plan. I don't think he's going to get owned at all because people are going to want to pay up for running back. They're going to want to pay up for one of these quarterbacks. They're going to want to pay up for wide receiver if they can. Tight end is usually the position that people try and save at. So, people are going to go to a guy like Jack Stoll, who I think is a fine play. But if you can find a way to get Mark Andrews in there, and I assume he's going to play, like he practiced today, I assume Mark Andrews is going to be good to go. So I am perfectly fine with pairing Lamar and Mark Andrews. And it's pretty rare that you get a spot with that much upside at no ownership. And that's what you're going to see. You're not going to see any ownership on that combination. I guess if you play Lamar, you're going to play Andrews. So the ownership is a little condensed in. But everybody's playing Allen or everybody's going to play Fields. So like the Lamar Andrews combination, it's not going to be owned, and it's got as much upside as anything. I don't know, Tambo. Like, this seems like a spot you would like.
Yeah, it is a good spot. It's how you said it is good too. Just putting those two and then filling out the rest. Nobody's going to Lamar this week. He's completely talked about Lamar and shitting, but he's completely squeezed in that range. So you're not going to be able to get much. You're not going to see many get to him there. And then you've got Mark Andrews, who's 6,800 is a really fair price, and he's coming off the week he took off. and then they had the bye week. So I know they're still messing around with it where Harbaugh's saying, don't worry, Lamar will be playing, but then they don't comment on Andrews. But I said it today, another one for you, Holden. If Mark Andrews is out, I'll likely be playing Isaiah. How's that one for you?
Ooh, I like that.
I like you that. Yeah, I like.
Do you like you that?
Yeah. This
well,
is
here's so bad. But all I'm saying is
Ugh.
that to Crane's point, when you get something like that, this is my main point here. If you just go Lamar Andrews, stop trying to figure out the rest of the game. You don't have to run back a Carolina Panther. You don't have to add another guy in there to make it work. You can just do that. You're different enough. And then you put something else in there. And that's why when people see a lineup like that ship something massive and they go, oh, it's just all the chalk plays. It's not, though. Lamar and Andrews are not popular. They're great plays. No. And they just squeeze in the rest of the value around it. But they went different at their stack enough already that you can get off the board and go elsewhere with it. So I don't hate it at all.
Am I getting Andrews at 4 or 5%? Because look, Dalton Schultz, 4-3, should be extremely popular. Hawkins is another guy at 5-3, probably won't be owned. I'm looking at Njoku, averaging 14 points per game over those 5 before he got hurt. 3.9. Dulcich, 3.8. Moreau's starting at 3.7. I mean, there's a lot of cheap guys once again. So it makes sense that he would be a 5%, sub 5% play.
I think Jack Stoll, you skipped over him. Like I want to make sure.
He's too. I'm not even going down there right now.
I think Jack Stoll is going to bust even at the $2,500.
Okay.
They brought Tyree Jackson in. Many aren't watching that. First of all, Calcaterra is a blocking dude, so it ain't going to be him. It is Stoll. And Stoll is a guy that can catch balls and stuff. He's the guy that it would be. It just really worries me that he's getting popular a little bit at 2,500 when you've got Tyree Jackson there. I just think, and again, they already run the ball enough. They have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. They've got other guys that he doesn't have to do much at 2,500. But I think when you've got Moreau with no Waller and no Renfro, 3,700, you got Dulcich with no, who are they down? Judy and Hamler for the week already. So you've got that situation there is cheap enough. Hurst is $3,500. Higbee with no cup is $4K. It's $1,500. It matters, but I'm just saying, I don't know if it's going to be enough on this slate. I think the points are going to be there. So I'd be looking to get at least double digits in my tight end slot.
Okay. And you were talking about Tyree Jackson. For those of you who don't know about Jackson, he is the backup with the Eagles. And I was looking into today, 170 offensive snaps last year, 3 passes, 3 catches, 22 yards. And he had a touchdown in that last game last season. So again, you're throwing darts. You're playing a 2-5 guy. Some guys will say you could play a 2-5 guy and he can get you 0 and you could still get by. Yeah. But Tambo, you're not down with that, are you?
I don't see it this week. Again, not saying, I guess my point is just he has more risk to him than people may assume. And you're not real risk when he's a $2,500 guy. I know what people are saying, but if you're trying to ship a tournament, I don't think a 0 is going to cut it. And I definitely think if he gets 3 or 4, people are going to have I would rather just find the $500 or $1,000 and get someone into my stack and hope that it works out to boost up both my quarterback and my tight end. In this situation, we'll see as it gets closer to the game. If you think you need the value and it can get you that one extra piece, I'll backtrack a little and say, then it's fine. I just, in something that I'm playing this weekend, maybe high dollar, smaller field, get away with it. We're usually talking on this show about winning the $20 Millie Maker. So, aiming it towards that, not saying he can't do it, but I think you need 10 plus points out of your tight end, relating it back to Mark Andrews, who could get you 30. And that would just break it because he's 6,800. And if you go there at tight end, you likely aren't getting Ramondre Stevenson at 6,700 in the flex or something. So instead you're paying up a tight end, but that can really separate yourself on a slate like this. So I like it for tournaments, definitely more than paying down.
Okay. Very good. Like button would be great. Let us know how much you love us by doing that. We can call it the fun button too. It's a lot of fun to hit it. Also subscribe to our channel, bottom right-hand corner. Don't forget our Sunday lineup is huge. 8:45 in the morning in the East. Tambo, JT Hayes, AP. Then we got the Wood right after that. What is that? 10 o'clock Eastern time?
10 Eastern. That's right.
I mean, this freaking mountain thing, at least Central is okay. He's in Atlantic. I mean, that might even be worse than mine.
That's not a real time zone.
It is.
There's no way that's a real thing.
It is.
No, I don't believe you.
Well, I think it is.
Me. It's good for me because it's not as early as.
You ever been to Nunavut?
No, I have not.
That's not a real place either. Stop it.
It is. There's they make you eat seal up there. It's pretty gross. I heard a good story. So anyways, Crane, Hoop, and Big T, 10 o'clock Eastern, 11:30 Eastern up to lock. Me, JSU, and JJ from the bet side. This week, though, Mangone's it for JSU. So I don't know what's going on with JSU, but that's what's going on.
A wedding.
He's traveling. He's traveling.
He's at a wedding. Yeah, he had his haircut yesterday, said he was going to a wedding.
Ezekiel Elliott should be available in week number 11. Does this matter? Yes, because of Pollard. We're not playing Pollard if Zeke is even active, correct?
Probably not. I don't know. Like I really wanted to play him too, but I just, and I know I've heard some people say, no, you could maybe still play him. Like, I just can't do it. Like I'm not paying that price for a split backfield, like 6,500. That's real money. Like I don't know. I just can't do it. I feel like Tambo might try and talk us into him.
I don't know. I don't think he will.
I'm with you on that one. I don't always agree with you on it, but this one I definitely do. I can't do it if they're both back. I know that they could say this, that, and the other, and maybe he gets extra work because of lately and easing Zeke back in, all these factors, but it's really hard for me to get there. And I think there's just way too many other options on this slate, even within that very price range. So you could say that he's the pivot, but I just don't think you need to go there. There's about 3 or 4 other options up or down or right there in the exact same price range.
Okay. Well, let's move on to another guy. Might be in your price range. Jamal Williams has 4 games with double-digit touchdowns this season. He's taking on the Giants in New York this week. Brain, I'll start with you here on Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. Like, Swift is dead to me at this point. He's just not getting the work. Could you make a case for Jamal, or is this going to be trailing and we're not going to
I'm not messing with it. I'm not messing with it. I just said I don't want to split backfield. I don't want it here either. Like I've been saying for a month now that DeAndre Swift, I'm just ignoring him this season. I'm not messing with it. Like I want to like him. I was a big fan of his preseason. I just can't do it. Like they're very clearly going to baby him and I don't want to do it. And Jamal Williams, like he's still going to cede some carries to DeAndre Swift. So like, what are we doing here? I know it's a good matchup. Like I'm not doing it. I'm not messing with the situation. It's just I like crossing stuff off. This is something I can easily cross off.
All right. Well, Zeke is 6K. Jamal Williams is 6K. We don't want Jamal Williams this week, do we, Tambo?
I don't think so. No, that's the same situation as what Crane said. I've been doing really good this season with running backs, just steering clear of that stuff and not worrying about it as much. Of course, they can have good games and get there and all that. The other thing with Jamal Williams, and I've said this plenty of times, is he can get you 2 touchdowns, and that might be it. You get your 12 and whatever the yardage that goes with it. You end up with 13.5 or 14 points. It's not that good. So, and like Rance, I do like this because Rance in the chat said only a few teams without split backfield. It's true. There's not many that are out there anymore, but that's why you just look for some of these situations. That's why when people keep saying, oh, the chalk keeps sitting at running back, it's because people are just doing that. And this week it would be David Montgomery. Herbert just hit the IR. David Montgomery's in the same spot against Atlanta that it doesn't matter that he's coming with 30% ownership. It's probably should be 50, probably should be 60. If you're looking for a spot that doesn't have a split, that has a good matchup, that has a reason to go there, that would be an example. It doesn't mean it's going to work every time, but that's what I'm looking for more than trying to say, let's play Jamal Williams and hope that they continue to ease Swift back in or not use one of Amon-Ra, all these other guys that could just vulture him anyway. So there's already no guarantees in it. I'd rather put my money behind the spot that I feel best about, and that's just one example. So I'll be going away from that one.
Not quite as much news today. Let's keep going here. Jerry Jeudy is out. KJ Hamler is out. We just learned Andrew Beck, the backup tight end, the blocking tight end with the Broncos, is out. So now you got more snaps for Dulcich. Tambo, boy, on one hand, you've got a team with 3rd string offensive linemen protecting Russell Wilson, who's been horrible. On the other side, we know that Cortland Sutton's going to get fed. And we know that Dulcich, well, we don't know, but I would think Dulcich is going to have a nice bounce back this week. What are we doing with the Broncos?
Yeah, I like him. $3,800. I mean, that game you could play either or. It's only $100 less to go to the opposite side to Moreau. They're both in good spots based on the injuries and setups. The underlying stats for Dulcich look pretty solid based on, while not coming through and now has Jeudy out and all that. The snaps are there, the routes run, the targets, like everything is there. He just hasn't really paid it off much. So you got to hope you get the same game as the one he got the touchdown where it was like 44 yards and a touchdown. But I think you could have that here. It's a good spot. We always target the Raiders. It's $3,800. I got no problem going there. And if you wanted maybe a secondary stack of Josh Jacobs with him, I'd have no problem with it. I just think that game is going to be a little bit of a slugfest there in Denver. And so going back and forth, you could just take those targets and those yardage that you get out of Josh Jacobs. The other thing I've seen, Holden, and I'll get Crane's thoughts on this, is I've actually seen a lot of optimizers interested in the Moreau Dulcich double tight end build.
Ooh.
2 tight ends in the same game that are 38 and 3,700 that with all the injuries, that at least would make some sense here. If they get 6 to 8 targets apiece, a touchdown apiece, that's pretty huge, man, for what it allows you to do with the rest of your lineup and with how much some of these guys cost this week.
Rain?
If double tight end is the answer, I don't like the question. Like I'm not messing with that. Maybe it's a mental block. Maybe but I'm just not messing with it. Like
it never wins.
It's just,
and so for the record, I never mess with it either. It literally never wins. But I guess the higher dollar, smaller field stuff, it can make more sense. It's because the point per dollar on those guys, it jams them in. But here's the thing: I'm saying, like, it's one of the only real spots where I could see it this week is with something like that, where you've got the game with Hamler, Judy out on one side, Renfro, Waller out on the other, back and forth. Maybe they just both go 6 for 60 with a touchdown. That's not slate breaking, but for the prices, that's pretty damn good when most of the value plays at wide receiver are $4,900 or $5,400, that sort of thing. This would allow you to take someone like that up to maybe a Lamb or a Amon-Ra or a Justin Jefferson, if going even higher, like little options like that, if you think that's what's going to get you the points you need. So definitely debate, but I'm with you, Crane. I usually don't run that. So
I got a question for you. Sutton's going to be really popular, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I bet she's 15 to 20%, just off the top of my head.
Like, he saw the 11 targets after Judy went out last week. I just struggle to imagine playing a chalk Cortland Sutton in a 41.5 point total. Like,
I'm with you.
Like, I just struggle to do that. And like, if he gets 11 targets, maybe he gets there anyways. And but I don't know. Like, there are other guys at 6. I'd rather pay $5,900 for Terry McLaurin. I would rather. Who else is in that?
Well, McLaurin's going to be higher owned. I'd rather pay $100 more and play Pittman back with Matt Ryan.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, I have no problem. I like Pittman too. I like Michael Pittman against Philly. Like, though, I will say Darius Slade does do better against these kind of bigger physical wide receivers than he does against the Terry McLaurins of the world. But I don't love the matchup for Pittman.
Didn't Terry
but
McLaurin just get Slay for something? Like,
he just crushed Slay. I'm just saying that, like, Slay struggles with the guys who play like McLaurin, not the guys who play like Pittman.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I was trying to say. I thought you were using that, but yeah, I guess I mean it's always a tough decision. He's just one option there, but to your point, when you go to him here and it looks like he's pushing 16 to 18%. It's not quite 20% plus, but it's still pretty high for the everything else considered, and it is still Russell Wilson throwing him the ball. So that can be a problem in its own right, but we'll see. I don't know. Some people say this is the week when you've got Sutton popping, you've got Dulcich popping. It is the Raiders. Why not just load Russell Wilson into the mix?
I don't know if I brought Jalen Virgil's name up on this show. I did on another show. I literally was the only guy to have him.
Holden, we're not listening to you anyway.
Scores a touchdown. And the rest of my lineup got like 8 points. So with that being said, if you're looking for 150 dart throws, though, I think there's 2 of them in this game. I think Kendall Hinton and Jalen Virgil.
You're Victor having Jalen Virgil. He had 1 target.
Did he catch a touchdown for 64 yards?
He 66 yards. He didn't catch a touchdown.
Are we not looking for dart throws? We know Russell Wilson's taking 2 deep shots a game. We know there's 2 guys on the team that could track that down. One is Jalen Virgil and one's Cortland Sutton. Ukraine.
I just looked at it. I saw 1 target and I couldn't help it.
He did have 1 target. And it was that's all he does. He throws it to Hinton. He throws it for Virgil for a deep touchdown. He hits, you get it at 0%. I don't play 150. But just throwing it out there at you. You keep chuckling there, big man.
When he scores a touchdown, I'm gonna have to hear shit.
Well, that would be 2 in a row.
Yeah, actually, but you're not gonna be able to find my Discord name, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm glad I found it though. It's so nice. So talk to me about the Giants here. Obviously in a great spot. We all love Saquon. Crane, Dable says he's optimistic Wandale is gonna play this week. Does that muddy up the wide receiver core there?
I mean, this wide receiver core has been muddied all season. Like, this is a situation where, like, it's tough to peg one guy because none of them ever get there. Like, Saquon's the easy play here, right? Like, 8-9, he's the whole offense. He gets the Lions. Saquon is the easy play here. He should smash. If you want to roll the dice on a guy like Wandale, like, I mean, I guess that's fine.
Would you rather play Slayton?
Not really.
Okay,
I don't think Slayton has a ceiling. I would rather play Wandale, I think, who does have a little bit more of a Slayton hasn't been bad. He's been over 11 in each of the last
He's
3
been a
games.
stud.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about stud,
Yeah,
but he's been fine. He's no Jalen Virgil, that's for sure. But
no, because he gets
okay.
4 targets and not 1.
I don't know. Tampa, would you rather play Wandale if you're playing any of these guys, or are you just not messing with them?
I don't know. Man, I said that last week. I tried to do it, and then Mayo told me it's going to be Slayton week. Wait and see. He's the guy that actually goes with Daniel Jones, and it's been back-to-back weeks, and then he does it again. So, I mean, he had a good week last week. Wandale's been out of practice this week too himself. So, I don't know here, man. Like, it's really tough. I'll say this too. I just would rather play Barkley, to your original point. But it's also much tougher than you think when you start to go build where you want one of these quarterbacks. You have to go down and almost pair him with Daniel Jones, which I have no problem with, or go to another cheap guy, like whether you're going to Mariota or Taylor Heineke or whatever you're deciding to do, you have to take on that risk. And someone said it in the chat earlier about Brissett on the other side. And I feel like that about all these guys on the other side. Like a lot of these guys, it feels like their ceiling is the floor of some of these other dudes like Josh Allen, like Fields, like those other ones that we talked about, where it's really tough to get behind it. So I don't know. It's really going to come down to roster construction this week, what you feel most comfortable with, getting a little bit of correlation in there, and then jamming some of these value plays in that you believe in. But it's really tough to get the New York Giants receiver side figured out. I think I saw another guy they have is stone minimum. Isaiah Hodgins is popping up a little bit in the projections. So I don't know, man. I can't really trust this spot that easily. I guess Slayton would be okay, but I like Daniel Jones and Barkley and cut it off there. Maybe put.
I like Slayton, guys. I like Slayton this week. It's Detroit. I mean, it's hard to
you can play anybody against the Lions. You can play anybody against the Lions.
That's what I'm
saying. I get that. And what Tambo said though, like I was playing around with my lineup when we were talking about Lamar and Mark Andrews, and I'm like, let's see if I can get Lamar, Andrews, and Saquon. Good luck.
No,
I mean that's
not getting that.
It's not happening this week.
Yeah, I mean you're looking at 3 wide receivers in the mid 4s there, and it's awfully tough to win doing that. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's tough this week. Like I think the pricing is tougher this week than we've seen. Really?
Yeah, I like it when it's tough because then everybody is like in this, like everybody's got an edge. We got this edge. Everybody's screwed. We're all in the same boat. It's not an easy build this week, Crane. It's tougher. And I kind of like that. Maybe it spreads ownership out a little bit too, but let's just stay on this game real quick. Daniel Jones, you mentioned him, Tambo. I mean, we've seen him hit for 30, but is this the week that we could see him hit for 30 again, or is it going to be more just Barkley? Is there enough to go around to play Daniel Jones this week, guys? At 5-7 on DraftKings, we want to get big guys in. Daniel Jones might be the way.
Totally not the FBI said the best play in the slate is Tanner Hudson in this game. He doesn't even know that Tanner Hudson ran like 10 routes to Cager, who also got a touchdown and ran pretty much every route. So you got the wrong guy in the same game, buddy. Like that's the thing. Everyone thinks it's Tanner Hudson. The Cager thing surprised everyone last week, but he was the one that was out there. I think he ran 46 snaps to Hudson's 11 or something, and he got the touchdown. It's not because he got the touchdown. I care more about the workload or the potential to get these passes out there. And again, we got to wait and see. If Wandale somehow gets ruled out, that would open it up. Then you would make it would be a little bit tighter where you had him, Barkley, Slayton, and pick your poison at the tight end. One of those two. He wants to bet now. Big better over here. Totally not the FBI. Don't care. I'm just telling you, you're looking at basic box scores and you got to pay attention to the snap share. It doesn't mean it's going to be right. I'm just saying you can't say he's the best play when he was out there for 10 snaps the whole week. It's not true. If he's out there for more this week and catches a touchdown, yes, results oriented will say he's the best play. But I'm saying keeping an eye on the stuff that I care about, the volume, the potential, all of that. And the guy that actually got the touchdown, which is it's a bonus. That's not results. That's the bonus of what happened because he was out there more. So I care about that, but I don't care about stacking that up that much. It is interesting though, Holden, because they are both $2,500. Yeah. And we talked about Stoll earlier. It may end up just being one of the Giants guys that does it again.
This is why we talk it out. You know what? I mean, I just don't like people, so I don't talk it out with them, but that's a great point, man. 2.9. I know it's $400. We might be looking more, but all right, Stoll. We'll go to the Eagles. Well, maybe it is Tanner Hudson. Maybe it is the other tight end there. Yep. There's other ways to save money.
I am with Tambo. I would definitely rather play the guy Cager who's like running a ton of routes as opposed to the guy who ran 10 or 11 routes. Like,
okay. And Lawrence Cager's 2.5. So there's min price guy, and last week he scored a touchdown.
Every
So,
game
I did not think.
Go ahead.
I would say I did not think we'd be talking Lawrence Cager on the slate on
No.
the show today.
We're talking Jack Stahl. We might as well talk Lawrence Cager.
Well, that's what I mean. And our guy, he admits it now. I like this guy. He comes back and says, I'm just a homer since he won me 10K in the preseason, and I just want it to happen again. So exactly. We love that, man. That's what it's all about. I keep an eye on that type of stuff because I care for if I'm going to go there to make the right choice. But again, Holden, that's what I was saying, where Jack Stoll, people are just going to plug him in. Oh, it makes everything else work. Maybe they're even putting him into Daniel Jones lineups. And it's like, at that point, if you already got him, just take roll the dice and play Cager or something, or Hudson if you like him, and do that instead and hope that you can double down where if they catch that touchdown, it also pops into your quarterback slot as well. So I would not go crazy with this stuff. Realistically, for $1,300 more or $1,200 more, you've got Moroz, Dulcich, Freiermuth, who we didn't talk about because we're not talking the slate, we're talking news, but there is a lot of guys from 3,700 to 4,300. There's 5 playable guys with good situations that I would try and focus on, if not paying up for Andrews. So, which is the case for most people. So I like that.
A little Giants onslaught this week.
It's possible.
Enough there. Yeah.
Possible.
Might be looking at that. All right. 2 defensive players, and then we'll get out of here. Derek Stingley, one of the best young corners in the game. Game time decision against the Commanders. Again, Stingley shadows on 60%. I still think McLaurin's just going to be amazing, but obviously higher owned there. I wonder if there's other options that you'd be looking at Washington. And then AJ Terrell, another young stud with the Falcons. He's questionable against the Bears. I don't know if that would really bump Mooney up more than already, but Tambo, we've got Stingley, game time decision, and Terrell, questionable. What if they're out?
Yeah, so for the first one, the matchup is so good for the running backs, but it also is a challenge here because you got Robinson with the 26 carries last week to Gibson, but now no JDM, so no JD McKissick. This is one where you could kind of just pick your poison and hope how the game goes. I feel like Gibson might be better because if, again, not like either are getting heavy ownership, even though everyone knows it's one of the best matchups in football, but you look at it like, let's say it stays close or anywhere near that where it's not a blow, which with these two teams, I don't expect that. I would see more of the pass catching work be more valuable, especially on DraftKings with a guy like Gibson. Even though the carries more so went to Robinson, he still got a bunch of carries, Gibson, and he get the catching work. So I think we could see more of that here. I do like that. But to your point on the quarterback being out, if he is, McLaurin looks really good where you just don't have to decide. Heineke loves McLaurin. He's going to have ownership, but that price tag is solid. So I like McLaurin. The other question was around who's the other one again? Oh,
AJ Terrell. So that would be the Bears.
Yeah. I don't know how many pass attempts it matters because I think between Montgomery and Fields, I think they're just going to run the ball as often as they possibly can. So I don't know if it really bumps Mooney more than you can always take the shot on a guy like him, no matter what, if you're playing Fields, but it is interesting this week. I guess, Crane, maybe your thoughts, but with everyone playing Montgomery this week, how many are going to play him with Fields and how many are going to just skip out on Montgomery where it's almost like opposite leverage? I'm only seeing Fields come in around 12 to 15 right now himself. We know last week, Mooney, Claypool, Kmet, they got some bump, but not huge. How many people do you think are actually going to stack up Fields this week or play him with Montgomery in this game?
I don't really understand why we only have Fields at like 15%. Like,
yeah,
he was 40 last week.
Yeah, he's not going to be. The price went up to 7,600, and you have
it went up $400. Like, it didn't go up that much.
No, it went up 1,100.
Oh, 11. I'm sorry. I was looking at somebody else. Sorry. Yeah. So,
but Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, and Kirk Cousins in that game are getting a little love. Then you got Marcus Mariota on the opposite side. There is other spots to go this week that people are considering.
Okay, I want to say this about Daniel Jones. I think on a normal slate, he is a fine play. Okay, on a normal slate where we look and we say, okay, there's only maybe 1 or 2 stud quarterbacks. I think he's a fine play. I think it's like in baseball when you've got 10 stud pitchers on a slate. A few of them are going to go off. You can't really save a pitcher on those days. I kind of feel like that's the situation this week at quarterback, because you've got Lamar in a phenomenal spot. You got Josh Allen playing in a great spot. Jalen Hurts, who nobody's going to play, but he's also in a great spot in a dome at Indianapolis. You've got Justin Fields, who has been the greatest quarterback in the history of people over the last 2 weeks. You have 4 quarterbacks that are all expensive in phenomenal spots. At least 1 or 2 of these guys are going to go off, and you're going to need them when they go for 35 or 40 points. Could Daniel Jones hit 30 and you need him? I guess. I just think the chances of Danny Dimes hitting 30 plus none of these stud quarterbacks going for 40 or so, I think that's a really, really small window you're trying to fit into. So to me, I'm paying up at quarterback. I'm not messing with Danny Dimes. And as far as Fields goes, I love him. This cornerback news, I don't care about. This whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is, very quick though, Danny Dimes 25 is those guys 40. So you got to remember that too, right? He doesn't need to hit 30 and them not hit 40. Him hitting 25 point per dollar is already up with their score. So it is in consideration. I do understand what you're saying fully. I'm just saying that is important to remember, that if you think Danny Jones can get the job done for 25 plus, you should consider it, because there is some plays that you can just play. But then after that, it sort of drops off to a mid-tier or above. And if you can get out of that and get good plays at all the other positions based on him, I think that matters quite a bit to give you the total upside. And we may have plays like the Slayton one that slides in if Wandale was out for whatever reason, where you could get access to the game that way. So I don't know. We'll wait and see, but it is a good little stack with Amon-Ra on the other side as well.
All right, boys. Good show. News dumps in the books again. 8:45 Eastern. Catch Tambo, JT Hayes, AP. They'll get our Sunday started off right. Then you check out the Hardwood at the conclusion of that show. It's 10:30 Eastern or 10 o'clock Eastern. Crane, Tambo, or Crane.
Not even called the Hardwood.
What is it?
It's the Morning Wood. What are you,
God.
living under a rock?
Living on the NBA show. It's NBA.
I did the NBA show. I had to screw up at least once every show, and I waited till the end this time, Crane.
You were a perfect.
That guy
right
with Hoop and Big T. That's the reason. And then up to lock this week will be Mangone for JSU, me and Dunkel. So that's good stuff. Good to see you, boys. I will not be on this show next week. I will be in Disneyland. So va-va-voom. I'm gonna have a good time.
I'll come back with some ears, please.
I'll wear them.
I know that's what we are.
I'll wear them next Sunday. Not this Sunday. Next, yeah. Have you been? You been to Disneyland?
When I was a kid. I haven't been.
It's gonna be awesome.
Adult.
I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Are you taking the kids, or are you just going like by yourself?
Just by myself. Yeah, just by myself.
I mean, I didn't know. Like you got put on a registry or something. I don't know.
Yeah, taking the kids and the lady. All right, guys, it's enough of this. For Tambo, for Crane, I'm holding helmet. You know what to do.